And now, our feature presentation.
Hello guys, Z899 here, and welcome to another one of these team predictions video. We've already done the first one, which is New South Wales, but now we're going to decide to do the enemy. I'm going to be selecting Queensland's team. So if you haven't watched the first one, which was the New South Wales one, there's, I don't know, do they still have there it is. I don't know. But anyways, so we are going to go with this Queensland team to see what they can do, and can they go 2 in a row from their big win from last year. But first off, with fullback, I am going to go with, he's had pretty good form so far with the Cowboys, and that is going to be, of course, Valentine Holmes. Look, he's had a bit of a shaky start to the season, but the Cowboys have started to get some traction at the moment in their season, getting some good wins, and Valentine Holmes is a very solid, probably, in my opinion, probably the best fullback for Queensland in terms of the options, because you've got obviously like players like Callum Pong. Pong has been going alright, but he is coming off a groin injury, which he won't be back till round 12, so he might need to be a bit cautious of that. There's also another player who would definitely start in the Queensland team, but there is a bit of issues because he's coming back from an injury, so we need to look into that. Now for the wings, I'm going to go on this side. I'm going to put Xavier Coates from the Brisbane Broncos, and I'm going to put Philip Sami on the other one. Two very solid wingers. I know Xavier Coates is having a bit of a rough season. Like I was saying, there has been a bit of issues with Brisbane at the moment, but Xavier Coates is definitely one of the biggest benefits so far from their team, and I think he should be placed back into his winger role from last year. And Philip Sami, I believe, is going to be a good link up for him for the other wing as well. So should be a very decent looking wing setup here for Queensland. Now for the centres, we are going to go with one of the most capped, I believe, now for the recent over the recent years, Dane Gagai for the from South Sydney, who obviously when he came in when he was in the Knights team, raised up and became quite a bit of a hero for the Queensland faithful. And I'm going to team him up with Brenko Lee. That's going to be, I think, a really, really good pairing here on the wings, like Brenko and Sami and Gagai and Coates. So maybe some of the talents of Gagai can rub onto Coates, so to pull him to a very, very good performance. Now for halfback, it's going to be very obviously who they're going to pick. It's going to be Delacheri Evans. Proved a lot of haters wrong in his Origin performance last season. But for 5'8", and obviously it's going to be Cameron Munster. But the thing is, though, he is coming off an injury, so we don't know how fully he's going to be prepared for. So he is going to be in the team. He's going to be on the interchange, so I might as well actually put him on the interchange. If I can just scroll down and find Cameron Munster there. It's just you don't know because how fresh he's going to be when he comes back in round 12. So I'm going to put in 5'8". I'm going to put Ben Hunt. Now I know, obviously, when you talk about Ben Hunt, there's only one thing that gets brought up. It's the knock-on in the grand final. But in all honesty, he's probably one of the more solid playmakers in the NRL, and has had a little bit of trouble with his injuries, but he is coming back looking fairly good, and hopefully he could, if he does get selected into the team, probably as maybe an interchange. Probably not as starting, because it's obviously depending on if Munster will be fine. But yeah, it should be pretty good. And there's my forwards for the Queensland team. Now we go into the backs. We are going to start off with the hooker. It's going to be, in my opinion, there's not really that many of other choices, but I'm going to go with Jake Friend. Very solid performer he is for the Queensland team, especially off of last season. Now with the props though, I'm going to go with Josh Papali. Not Papali, it's no longer Papali anymore. And the other prop is actually, he actually played in the second row, but for some reason it won't allow me to select him. But we are going from the Gold Coast Titans, Tino Fasuamaluia, the one player that I really struggle to say his last name. I just call him Tino. And I think that's going to be a very solid lineup. Tino's been going really well with the Titans. The Titans' backs have been pretty good in terms of getting post-contact meters. I know the Titans' defense is a little bit shaky, but they did bounce back very well against the Tigers. I mean, then they against Penrith, but then again, everybody's had that same problem with Penrith. So yeah, that is actually going to be my first row of the backs. Now for lock, and in my opinion, there is nobody else that goes, well, I'm going to pick Jai Arrow from South Sydney. He's quickly turning into probably one of my favourite players who's not playing for the Newcastle Knights, who is the team I support. And he's very solid in getting those post-contact meters from your big backs. He always does very well for South Sydney, getting him into really good positions on charges, inspiring the team, which is something you really need in a game like State of Origin. Now for the second row, we are going to go with David Fifita. I mean, he's the best back in the game in the NRL, like no questions asked. I know he is coming off a bit of a suspension for an absolute beauty of a high shot, which was a very big accident, but it was a very good one nonetheless. But for the other one, I'm actually going to go with Christian Welch. I believe that's going to be a pretty good pairing for Feeder. Lead the charge and Welch getting some very good playing time there. And I think that should be a very solid backline there for Queensland if they go with this. Now with the rest of the interchange, obviously we've already got Cameron Munster in there. I'm actually going to put in, and this one's going to be a bit interesting, I'm going to put AJ Brimson in there. Obviously people are going to be saying, why not Kalen Ponga? And it's just, first of all, Ponga is also coming off a bit of an injury. He's coming off a groin injury. Will be back in round 12. But in my personal opinion, I think Brimson at the moment's on better form than Kalen Ponga. So I think it's the right choice of being one of the two forwards interchange for Queensland. And that is, obviously a few people might not agree with that, but that's where you got to tell what you think in the comments below. But then again, in all honesty, you could probably point a gun at my head and try to tell me to name the entire team from last season, and I probably could name 3 players. Because to be completely honest, I didn't exactly watch the series last season. And so for the final 2 interchanges, we are going to go with Harry Grant. And I just got to check my notes here. The last one, and Jaden Sewer. Definitely good rotation players to get in there for the backs whenever one of the players falls out. I think that should be a very solid team indeed, I believe, for Queensland. So that is my predicted Queensland lineup for the 2021 State of Origin series. What do you all think about this? Do you have any changes? Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't seen the New South Wales one, there's a fucking an eye somewhere which you could probably click on that. I will leave it in the description below. So yeah, that is my predicted lineup. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all later.